Hi, we are back. Yeah, and we have Hamed. Right, Hamed is a great guy. He's a Nigerian and also an African, and he's an XR developer with PwC here in Nigeria, and also the chapter lead for the VR Association Nigeria, which is also a global association of XR enthusiasts, developers, and also those that are into XR for business. Emilios, I'll allow you to do the introductions if you have that.
Hamed, thank you for joining us. It's awesome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here as part of this event. As just as introduction to the audience, Hamed Arowosegbe has over 6 years experience in the industry. He has worked with diverse teams across the globe to develop hardware and software solutions, from building the first real-time ship steering simulator in Nigeria to creating scriptable APIs. The session is developing the XR community, and it's breaking down and discussing how the VR AR Association in Nigeria plans to develop the African XR ecosystem, which is absolutely essential for the continent. So, Hamed, please take it away. Rock and roll.
Take it away. You have the stage.
Yep. Hello everyone, and it's a pleasure to be on this call. And I mean, I need to give thumbs up to the organizers for this wonderful event, and it's been going great. So before I move forward, I just like to give a brief intro for myself. I know Emilios and Arome did a fantastic job doing my introduction, but again, I'm the chapter president, Nigeria, the VR AR Association, and also an AR VR software engineer here with PwC in Nigeria. So just a brief overview of what I'll be diving into in my session. And I'll give everyone an overview of XR, why XR is important, some challenges with the African XR community, and solving some of these challenges. Again, why I'm going through why XR is important is we need to really look at an overview of XR, why it's important, and then how we can address some of these challenges. And again, in quotes, XR is extended reality, and it's a broader name for virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So a brief overview of XR. Now, I was like giving this explanation in terms of generation of devices, because when you look at this, you see that we add the desktop, that's our system, personal computers, desktop monitors, that kind of they were the first generation of computing. And you can see that we moved to the second generation of computing, which was smartphones. That's where we are currently. And spatial computing devices are expected to be that third generation of computing. And that's where we have VR, AR, MR, and maybe the future would be like a single devices that I would say all of them both. But that's really what the future is projected to be. Hopefully that doesn't change. And then, so these are just again, quoting, I talked about XR, that is VR, AR, and MR, that's virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So I'm just touchlighting a little bit on some of these gadgets, right? So we have the one there, that's the HTC Vive. We have the 2, that's the Valve Index. We have the 3, that's the Sony PlayStation VR. We have the 4, the Oculus Rift, and we have the 5, and that's the Oculus Quest. And of course, I have a ton of some headsets at my back here. And then also we have AR mixed reality headsets. So we have NVIDIA, we have the HoloLens from Microsoft, that's number 3. We have 2, that's the Magic Leap, right? And then we have 4, that's from ViewVix. And again, in quote, you get to see that, I mean, from this hardware, you get to see that some major companies are playing a major role here, right? So you get to see that the Vive is from HTC, the Oculus is from Facebook, the PlayStation VR is from Sony, the HoloLens is from Microsoft, and then you also have Apple potentially working on some very cool AR and MR SDK, some VR, AR, MR SDK from Apple and Google. So that shows that, okay, if we have some of the big 5 or big 4 tech companies playing actively in this role, that means this is a technology that is here to stay. And then why is XR important? So just to answer this question, I would move randomly and then I'll just pick a stat, right? And I'm looking at a stat from 2017 Q4 to 2018 Q3, right, where we get to see unemployment rates. And then you see that from 2017 Q4, unemployment rate was around close to 20%. And then by 2018, it went up to like 26, 27%. And this is just like last 2 years or 4 years ago, right? And then this unemployment rate in Nigeria, it has even gone higher than this. I think we are clocking close to 33 or more than that percentage now in Nigeria, right? So, and this just me trying to explain why XR is important. So how can XR address this problem, just in quotes, right? So just to explain why this is a problem is, we look at skill gap, right? So skill gap is one of the major drivers for unemployment. Now, what is skill gap? Skill gap is when a company wants you to do a task A, and then you that you're looking for a job, you can't do a task A, but you can do task B. So that difference between A and B is the skill gap, right? Now, older workers have an high level of expertise, right? So a person that's in a company for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, right, has that high level of expertise, right? And 6 out of 10 jobs are based on skill gap. So what this means is, because a company needs to replace an older staff, right, that has like 35 years of experience, and then new guys coming in can't even match up to that skill level, then there's a need to get in more guys. So you get to see like 5 new intakes, newbies, trying to replace just that one gap. And then experience is invaluable to most organizations, right? So an XR is just an answer, not a replacer. So why I'm saying this early is because people get there to think that XR is here to replace workers and things like that. But no, I mean, XR is just a technology, it's a device, right? It's not here to replace you. It's just meant to enhance your work process and make things better. So now, how does XR solve this? So here you get to see a graph between unemployment rate and your RGDP. So your RGDP is really it shows how well you produce things, and then unemployment rate there shows like, okay, the country has an high unemployment rate. So you get to see that at 2017 there's a like huge gap between that, and there's a need to bridge that, right? So what XR can do and why XR is important in any kind of context, if you're trying to solve it, is other workers can become content creators, right? So you get to put other workers at home, and then they get to just move out there and start creating. I mean, other work can be at home, and then with XR, it can provide a solution or sending insights to a frontline worker at the front, right? There's a change of job, increase expertise, expert remote expertise. So again, in quantum says an old worker that has over 25 years to 30 years experience can stay at home or stay at the office and then just lesser work. And then you can have a newbie technician be at the forefront. It could be an Eric, for example, and then with XR remote connection, they can be linking in live, and then the older worker can be given his insights. And even with XR, you can even like store so many data and then pass that into like a tutorial where new workers can walk into. So with XR, you can really replace some of you can solve some of these things, right? And again, this just includes me trying to explain why XR is important, and I hope I just sort of like explained how XR can help solve that skill gap problem. And then here you get to see VR being used in Boeing for some of their flight simulators, and Ford using the Microsoft HoloLens to visualize cars and just to help the engineers design their car quicker. And then during the COVID, we've seen like a rise of work, right, of remote meetings where, you know, staffs A that's in Canada and staff based in Nigeria, they can't meet physically, and then there's a need for them to still link and have that high level of immersion. And then with remote collaboration in VR, it's possible to get not 100%, but at least get so close to 60-70%. And then with that, we also have like this report, which I always love to reference. That's the PwC saying it delivery report. And then so yeah, you see that by 2030, VR is expected, VR AR has the potential to boost global GDP by $1.5 trillion. And that's a huge amount of money looking at that like time span. So hopefully this sort of like shed light why XR is important. And so what are the challenges with the African XR community, right? So this is really what we're going into today, but I needed to sort of like give everyone a background where you get to see, okay, these are the companies in the XR space. You've seen the big 5 tech, the big 4 companies already in XR space. You've seen how XR can help solve skill gap problem. You've seen some companies in XR. You've even seen, I mean, the market chart here shows that, okay, XR is important. It's a necessity at this point. And how can we help develop that African XR community? So I will start with what are the challenges first, right? So the first one is awareness, right? So, I mean, you might find this funny, but I mean, most people still don't know about XR in Africa per se. And I will say Nigeria because I can just go out a day and just be like, hey, what's up? I'm doing about, let's say VR. But what's VR? I mean, people might even know about VR, maybe because they play a little bit of games, but when it comes to AR, nah, nothing about AR. So you still see that there's still a low level of awareness in Africa, right? And even part of those people that are aware of XR, that knows, okay, they know what VR is, they know what AR is, right? They still see it as a solution for gamers and geek, right? So that, oh, VR is only for gamers, people just play game in VR, and nerd just use VR. So, and people still see it as a buzzword, actually, like, oh, technology to stay, just, one of those things that just fly in and fly out, that kind of stuff. So we still have issue with awareness in Africa, right? And then we also have limited development resources, right? So, I mean, so now we've seen that, okay, few people would even know about XR. Out of those people that know about XR, some of them think that it's for gamers and geeks, some of them think it's a buzzword. Now, out of those few lucky people that sees XR as something tangible, right? They decide to move forward, right? But then they get to a pit stop due to hardware limitations, lack of streamlined content. Now, hardware limitation in terms of like cost, right? And lack of streamlined content is you get to see a lot of training resources online, fine, yeah, on YouTube, product sites, Udemy, but sometimes some of those content are not really tailored to what you want because it's free, right? So you can get to see something on A, 360 video today, next thing is B, next thing is modeling. So we really don't have that kind of like, you can't really see like a free software just guide you to everything you need to just become that awesome, lovely Excel developer, right? And then when you look at the cost of gadgets, you get to see we have like, I mean, $20 is a small money, right? Outside Nigeria. I mean, I won't say outside Nigeria, but I'll say in the European side, like $20 is, I mean, small compared to standard of living, nothing like that, right? It's okay. But in Nigeria, yeah, that same $20, which is in quotes, is just me using like the lowest minimum, like that can do 6D or that's 6 degree of freedom development, will cost roughly 80K in Nigeria. 80,000 naira. An average Nigerian standard of living is 30,000 naira, right? So you get to see that there's even that huge gap of access to gadgets and even access to training resources. So say you are tired of that kind of foreign resources you are seeing outside there, and then the next step is, okay, I want to move for an extra paid course. I mean, you're not getting anything less than $1,000. That is huge. So these are some key challenges that have really faced African developers and creative startups. I mean, just the African community generally. And then we also have job opportunities, right? To get a decent job, you need to look globally, right? You have to look at global companies, local companies, startup require a decent amount of experience, right? I mean, you need to have the amount of experience and a lot of experience, no backing. So say, for example, you've tried, you've skilled yourself up, you've gone out, you've taken those YouTube courses, you've paid $1,000 for all those courses, now you're good. You don't have experience to back you up. A company won't hire you based on, oh, I've taken a YouTube course or a Udemy course, for example. They will back you up saying that, okay, I've worked with this company for an X amount of years, right? So we still don't have that bridge between, oh, your work experience and the learning. Most rules now require you to have 3 to 5 years experience. If you're going for a Unity developer rules, most VR rules, it's not market friendly, like it's not experience friendly. They'll tell you 3 to 5 years, right? Rapid market change, right? You're moving from Google VR, we've moved to Go now, I'm moving to Quest. Quest is like the in thing now, and I mean, not 100% sure, but I'm sure in the next 2 years, it's going to change again to something else entirely. And then there's that rapid, so that means you need to be on the market, you need to be rapidly developing for it to like adapt to these changes. Lack of ecosystem reports, right? And I'm saying this because I've seen that most time, especially, and I'll take Nigeria for example, right? Most XR startup in Nigeria just jump straight into 360 videos making. That's like the very first thing you see in Nigeria, right? Again, I'm not saying this is bad per se, but I'm saying that, I mean, there's need to understand like, okay, what exactly is the market in Nigeria? What are the verticals? I mean, where is the money coming from? And not just looking at, okay, this company A is doing this, and let me jump into what company A is doing. So we don't even have like a proper report that's detailing all this thing that we can even use to address some of these issues. And again, I'm super happy when I had there's now an African XR report, it's always out, and I mean, I was like, oh, fantastic job to the whole team. And that also includes Arome that's doing a fantastic job also getting that out also. So how can we solve solving some of these challenges again. So what we've done at the VR session is we've kept these challenges, we've kept it open, right? So that means we have 2 pages, right? We have an open-ended page like this, which can be like anyone that's trying to solve this problem. What should you be looking at, right? What should you think? What should you try to do? And then we also have a page where we talked about how exactly we've tried to solve it. How exactly we've tried to solve it. So the very first thing to check out, and again, this is not 100% foolproof. It's just, I mean, from a little research of it really mapped out. So the first one is you will need to do more evangelism, right? Build the awareness. And awareness include how large is our community. That's what you need to check. So if you're trying to build a community in Africa, trying to scale up that ecosystem, you need to check, okay, how large is our community? Do we have people that are actively doing stuff in this space, right? And how can we upskill our talents? Do they have access to the right resources? Do we have a top-notch project, right? So up to now, if you're looking at some of the best projects outside in VR, outside, you really cannot really point to a Nigerian, I don't say Nigeria per se, you can't point to like an African type of project. I know there's the type of Chibok, that one went well, was very nice, and that's really some of the things that we're expecting out from the African economy or rather from the African ecosystem. So do we have that kind of top-notch projects that's coming out, right? Our startups, are they growing? And this is a very important, big important question. What I say, very important question, because you look at the market as a pie, right? So if the market is big, if the market is going bigger, then your startup would also be going bigger, right? But if the startup are just redundant, that the same thing, access to revenue, lack of funding, it shows that, okay, the ecosystem is out there, is dry. There's really nothing pushing it. So, and this is one of the metrics that we just use to check some of all these things. And also, we also have mapping out our economy, right? Which is having an ecosystem report. So we need to understand who are the people doing stuff in this space. Who are who? Like, how many companies do you have in Nigeria doing stuff? So if an investor wants to make just an interest, okay, I want to invest in this company, right? Does he have access to some of this reports where he can say, okay, company A is doing this thing. Let me check to company A. Can we identify the key verticals, right? I mean, US, UK is not an Africa, it's not US, it's not Nigeria, it's not South Africa, it's not Kenya, right? So, I mean, it could be consumer industry that could be like reigning in the UK, for example, in the US, for example, but that might not be what that might not be what will be in Nigeria. It could be enterprise that could be in Nigeria, for example. So we need to identify what are the key verticals. Is it manufacturing? Is it oil and gas? And so many things, right? Also need to identify who is our market leader. Do you have a chart where we can identify, okay, this person is doing this and is the market leader at this space? So these are some of the questions that we feel that you need to look at if you really want to like push out an African or like upskill the African XR ecosystem. So what are we doing at the VR AR Association? Again, the VR AR Association is a global association for enthusiasts, passionate people, really just anyone that's doing anything in XR. We are open and we really want everyone to come on board and let's help push this ecosystem more than the way it is currently. So in regards to doing more evangelism, right, we organize quarterly events across various XR industry experts. So follow us on our social media, you see that, okay, we have this continuous stream of events churning out per quarter, that's for chapter, and then we also have like other type of event that's churn out even weekly, monthly, and a lot of events that just help to drive that awareness up, right? And then for the African ecosystem, we're also launching a Slack page currently, where we hope that this Slack page can help gather some of our African XR creatives and startups together, where we can help share insights on development research, insights, market research, job opportunity, and so many things, right? And upskilling our talents, right? We're also looking at organizing XR bootcamps. So, I mean, just it could be master classes, it could be for startup on how to do proper pitch deck and just a whole bunch of stuff. Just organize that kind of bootcamp just to upskill our talents. Because if we don't have our talent, then we nothing we can do. And then we're also working in partnership with some organizations, right, to create a support system for XR, creative, and startup. And again, in quote, I mean, also happy to partner with Arome on this because we're also working together and seeing how we can help create a support system for XR, creative, and startups. And then we also have that part where we're trying to map out our economy. So we are well aware of the African XR report that's currently ongoing now, right? And that is very nice. But we also, we plan to start, when we look at it, we plan to start with our local system first. So let's start with Nigeria first. So we plan to map out Nigeria first, and then Nigeria will move to country. So that way we have like better focus and things like that. So we will be releasing a survey soon. And I mean, just using this medium to tell everyone that it's a startup, that you have a company that I'm kind of I'll drop our details with Arome, so you fit reach out back to this platform, and I mean, we're sure to get in touch with you. So we plan to map out our Nigerian XR ecosystem, and really the report will address all the key verticals in Nigeria. So when you get this report, you should be able to make well-informed decisions on how many companies do you have in Nigeria doing XR. If you can get that data very accurate, also get, okay, what industries are these companies focusing on, and yeah, things like that. So pretty much, thank you again so much for listening to me and this long talk. Hopefully not too long, and I hope you enjoyed it. So questions and back.
Awesome, great. You did justice to the presentation. And so first off, I want to say from the presentation, I was able to get out some key information. Right. To be sincere, I run an XR startup. It's quite hard to run a startup, right, in emerging tech, especially from a developing country, because everything is basically against you, right? You have the infrastructure, technology, manpower, right? It's a battlefield, right? And if you check if you do your research, most startups that are into XR from Nigeria, right? Post COVID, most of them are just trying to survive, because most businesses don't even see, before COVID, most businesses are not seeing the need to have an XR experience, right? And it's quite a lot. Being passionate about technology, but you don't have the markets or the industry to support you, right? So this is like a really, really passionate feedback. It's quite a lot, but I believe if you're passionate about something, you have to give your all, you have to give your 100, and you have to understand the dynamics, the business of what you're doing, not just being in it. Understand the business, understand your target markets, and in the long run, you would excel. So thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are mapping out Nigeria first before expanding to the entire African ecosystem, which is good, and which will also be a good resource for investors and also partners that are looking for startups within the West African region. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hamed, thank you so much for presenting that. Honestly, it was awesome. Thank you for also mentioning the skills gap, because that is something that we are addressing actively on the continent, and more works need to be done to ensure that learning tools are available, whether that is for professionals already in the industry want to upskill, whether that's graduates, entering the industry. You yourself, as a VR AR software engineer, I'm interested to find out what steps you would advise people to take in order to follow your footsteps into a role like yours.
Yeah, thank you, Emilios. So, I mean, I'd say what I would say first is work. I mean, I'm saying this from that Nigerian perspective. So if you're listening to me from Nigeria, I would say work on free gigs, right? So there are a lot of XR projects outside there that people will call you to work on, and it's not paid. Work on it. Use that to build your experience, and start with internships. Again, there are a lot of companies outside there, not just Nigeria. So look globally from here on, that would actually get you for internship. I know the likes of Light and Shadows, right? They can get anyone from anywhere in the world to do internship with them. And then so do free gigs and work with internship. And then when you do that, you're able to build that, say, 6 months or 1 year experience on your CV. And then that can help take you to a particular job that you want. Okay.
Fantastic. I also wanted to share an article which was put together by Mr. Jake Maymar, who's the technical director at the Glimpse Group in the US. And he wrote an article not too long ago of how to become the VR AR software engineer in 2020. I just wanted to share some insights with you and get your thoughts. Learn programming languages, Unity or Unreal, which are obviously the platforms to create 3D environments, and then 2 primary coding languages, C# or C++, and JavaScript. Define your platform. You must differentiate between AR, VR. You must decide how you will take advantage of each technology. You then need to decide which framework or SDK you'd like to use, because this effectively determines the tools which you'll use and how you'll proceed with your projects. Then he goes on to explain about getting educated. Ideally, you'd, if possible, study for a bachelor's degree in AR, VR development. However, as you mentioned, Hamed, boot camps, enrolling in boot camps for AR, VR development, which allows you to learn quickly, get taught the principles of AR, VR development, such as Unity and Unreal. So in a nutshell, develop a project, build your portfolio, highlight your best projects, keep it personal, keep it concise, volunteer, as you mentioned, Hamid, on open source projects to get more practice in the field, reach out to companies, immerse yourself in AR, VR communities, and fingers crossed, doors will open. And when they do open, you need to be ready to deliver in the technical interview. Would you agree with that, Hamid? Would you add anything?
Sorry.
I'll say like
sorry. Emilios, could you share the link to that article with me?
Of course.
So,
yes.
So you can go ahead, Hamid.
Yeah, I'll say, that's fantastic. Addressed all key problems. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hamid, I have to say, I'm so impressed with kind of the key pillars that you were outlining in your discussion. Speaking about evangelism, I think we all would agree with that, right? And how we can propel our voices in the space, right? Upskilling talent, Emilios already called that out, hugely important. And then mapping the community, which I think is fantastic. And I think that's a great kind of framework for us all when we're thinking about how we can work together to continue the space. I would encourage you to really continue on with that work. And if there are tangible and practical ways that within that mapping of that ecosystem and that community, you can actually show people the skills that exist, the experience that exists, and the connections that are inherent in that, I think it'll be incredibly powerful and an opportunity for you all to engage with each other locally, but also for those of us around the world to really just see the amazing talent that's there and have a way to interact with you all and collaborate together.
Yep. I totally agree. Yeah, exactly.
Hamed, so somebody is asking if you can share the links to the sites they can have or get remote internship experiences from. So maybe after the call, you could just share with me, so I would also share with you.
For the links, if you like, for the links, I feel like you can just go to LinkedIn, right? Just search AR/VR internship, like you'd see lots of opportunities, and then just send your email, apply, and just keep your finger crossed.
Great. Great. Thank you so much. Any final thoughts, final feedbacks?
Yes, Hamid, I was going to say also, I was advised that people getting into the industry should also have some sort of knowledge of geometry and linear algebra. Would you agree with that, sir?
No, I won't. Okay. I won't, because why I would say this is because for the few, we have a lot of niche, right? So you have the creative, that is these storytellers, you have developers, the software engineers. So it depends on where you're going to, where you want to focus on. If you're developers, of course, you need to understand geometry for your modeling. But if you just want to be like a storyteller or a marketer, what do you need that for?
Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Also, I feel Okay, I think Emilios said that also, right? If you notice, most upcoming XR developers, they usually claim to be jack of all trades, which is quite bad, right? You should be perfect in a certain niche within the XR space before you move to another space, right? Because if you are called upon for jobs that are related to your wide expertise and you can't handle it, it's quite bad for your portfolio and also for your name. So
Yeah,
focus.
exactly. I totally agree with you. But you know what I saw with with Nigerian market was the Nigerian market does not allow you to do that because we are still sort of like a niche ecosystem, right? So a company cannot afford to employ 5 people to do a job, right? They want to get one person that can handle everything. So I'd say a long-term goal should be specialized. But for if you're looking at an African ecosystem, just be a full stack. As of now, just be a full stack. It's going to be
Yeah,
hard, but yeah.
true, because you get most projects and you be like you be the 3D modeler, you do the codes, you create the experience. Every whole task in the project is for one person, and it's crazy, right? So
Yeah, it's
uh,
hard, but I mean, yeah,
I was going to say, they say it's called, you're required to wear many hats.
but I believe the future is going to be great because a lot of people are seeing XR as a very innovative, and it's more like you jumping into tech quite early, right? XR is quite early, especially on the continent, and I'm excited for the future. I'm really excited.
yeah. I think we are going big. I remember when Emisi 3D was still the first execution lab in Nigeria, and now Nigeria is like home to a lot of XR companies. So I'm sure we'll get there. And again,
Great.
super thanks for this session. I really enjoyed myself. Thank
Thank
you
you so
for
much.
the moderation and
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Do
you,
have
Ahmed.
a great
Cheers.
evening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be jumping on our next call in a bit, and we'll be having Julie, a very special person also, and she's going to share her updates on their platform, the Metaverse, and some new updates, some new experiences, which she would share, and you guys should really join that session. So thank you so much, and have a great evening.
See you, everyone.
Bye everyone.